Does this put us in a situation where there is a constitutional crisis?
He was wrong. He's got a sick sense of paranoia.
I am concerned. I have a horrible feeling that we're seeing a breakdown in plain sight.
If they come here and if it goes off without a hitch, presumably that undermines his argument about the need for extra security.
He sort of painted himself into a corner a little bit because he either accepts that position now or he sticks his heels in and says, right, they can never come.
Breaking today, growing fears of a constitutional crisis if King Charles goes ahead with a meeting with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle this weekend. That potential raised fascinatingly by Katie Nicholl, the royal editor of Vanity Fair, who just so happens to be one of those journalists who Prince Harry tried to destroy in his Daily Mail court case, but now she, feeling emboldened for very good reason, believes that she probably has the information to destroy him. I mean, who genuinely now believes, after this week, that Prince Harry can remain a Councillor of State, signing off on laws? Who genuinely believes that Prince Harry can remain on the royal website? And who even genuinely believes that Prince Harry can remain in the line of succession? Not me. But here is Katie Nicholl's argument on Piers Morgan.
Does this put us in a situation where there is a constitutional crisis? How long can the king, who has been incredibly generous in extending the olive branch, in allowing them to have and retain those titles, when I think we've moved so far from the Sandringham Summit and what was agreed then?
Yes.
How far can Harry and Meghan continue to push it?
The problem is, Harry with his father, as I witnessed, he was always, he did no wrong. You know, the king always kind of, to an extent, let him get away with things. And he was the youngest son kind of thing. And I think Harry still thinks he's got that leverage over him. I honestly think that he still thinks he can, you know, pull the king's heartstrings. I think that's what this is about.
I think he does. And let's not forget that the king advised his son not to take on Associated
Absolutely.
Newspapers.
Yeah. But also, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with these other relationships with the other complainants in this court case. We're all hearing that it's been a bit strange between Harry and Sir Elton John.
So, P-Dina, do you believe that this could end up resulting in a constitutional crisis? And that is one of the reasons why Prince William and Queen Camilla have been so keen to tell King Charles, like, just stay away?
Absolutely. And I think part of the reason is, once again, Meghan and Harry are not at agreement with each other, and so she is still influencing the things that Harry is doing, which is a direct influence, or you know, on the monarchy, because the king is still kind of supporting Harry. I think it's just not good. You have seen what they have done in the past. Learn from that. They have already put a lot of things out there that don't look good for the monarchy in terms of the allegations that Harry is trying to walk back now, you know, around the racism and around things that, you know, Meghan had complaints with. So as long as Meghan is still a part of the picture, you have to distance yourself from Harry, because nothing good is going to come from that. I mean, any leeway you give to Harry is going to pass over to Meghan, and then we know she has a vendetta. We know that she has reasons to not want to align the way the royals want them to align, because she wants to have her say. So that's just never going to be good. You're just asking for trouble, and I think it could be a direct reflection to you know, the monarchy, when there is still this couple trying to dictate things for their own careers, their own futures.
Yeah.
Because we know that they failed already.
Well, indeed.
Right?
And P-Dina as well, there's also the reality this week that by coming into the country and by bringing Meghan and the children in, potentially, if we actually believe it, you know, because we can't trust a thing they say, P-Dina. We've got to wait until we see it with our own eyes. But there is the argument, which is even
Welcome back to Palace Update Live, your trusted source for breaking royal family news and analysis. Today's headlines are sparking fierce debate across the UK and beyond. Royal commentator Katie Nicholl has argued that Prince Harry's actions could have wider constitutional implications for the monarchy, while broadcaster Megyn Kelly has delivered strong criticism of the Duke and
there
Duchess
is the argument, which is even being made by the mainstream media, by the way, because I'm going to show you Kate Mansi and Roy Anika of the Times and the Sunday Times, respectively, that by doing that, Harry has just completely undermined the argument that he has spent months making, that the country is too unsafe for his family. Look at this.
It's about so much more than just his legal battles. It's about his emotional battle as well with his own family, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're still here, aren't we? Kind of 6 years after he left royal duties and all the water under the bridge. He hasn't moved forward at all. You know, we've said it before. He can't seem to look forward. He's always looking backwards. And I don't think ultimately the security situation hasn't changed. If the UK authority are assessing your visit on a case-by-case basis and you tell them what you plan to do, then and they say, well, there's no cause for armed security, and you say, well, yes, there is. How will that be any different from a risk management board?
And if we see Meghan and the children arrive in the next few days here, and he doesn't have the extra security, which we know he doesn't, which he's asked for, does that undermine the argument a little bit? If she comes and brings the children and they're able to move around and she goes to an engagement with him, let's see, we don't know that's going to happen. Let's say there's a possibility that they may meet with the king. We don't know, but it might still happen. If they come here and if it goes off without a hitch, presumably that undermines his argument about the need for extra security.
He sort of painted himself into a corner a little bit because he either accepts that position now or he sticks his heels in and says, right, they can never come.
All right, aren't they, P-Dina? I mean, he absolutely has undermined his own argument. And this is why he went so hard to get the security, of course, because he has to bring them. And he's not... Can everyone... This is what frustrates me and infuriates me when I see this mainstream media coverage. He doesn't give a damn about King Charles. Can we just be honest about why he's bringing the children? He has to take them to... Well, if he is indeed bringing the children, he needs to try and take them to Althorpe to film for the documentary, which they want to put up to market for the 30th anniversary of Princess Diana's death. And being able to have some footage of that, even if it's only mobile phone footage, is significantly going to up the value. So can we please just stop talking about the fact that there's any type of altruistic element to it, P-Dina? The latest bombshells from Harry and Meghan that the Montecito Mafia and the rest of the media are desperate to hide. Subscribe right now for the real story with zero spin and zero censorship.
I don't know, Dan. I think there is an emotional connection, I think, that Harry has with his children to see his world, to see his life. I feel that Harry wants that, but I think he's being pulled back from that because of Meghan. She doesn't want to align with the royals anymore. And so Harry is doing what he has to do. I believe his obligation to trying to get this footage for the Diana documentary, but I also believe that Harry wants his children to have a life that includes what Harry knows and what is close to him and how he was brought up. And so he's trying to do that, but he can't really do it the way he wants to do it because of what Meghan is doing, because I believe they're arguing behind the scenes. They don't want the same things. And this is why when we hear about the security and everything, it makes no sense because it's a lie, Dan. It's a complete lie. It is Meghan making these problems for Harry, and he looks like the idiot because we know there's no security threat. There's no problem. But I do believe Harry wants his children to have some connection with his father. I believe that.
See, what's interesting, P-Dina, and I actually want to show you Megyn Kelly, my friend Megyn Kelly, telling my other brilliant, one of my heroes actually of broadcasting, Paul Murray of Sky News Australia, that Prince Harry now has a genuine sickness. And it's a sickness involving paranoia. But what that means is that he is now trying to sue people just for telling the truth, right? This is Meghan's explanation. It's really interesting. Listen.
How could I not ask you about Prince Harry? He couldn't have lost bigger. in his court case against newspapers in the UK. Multiple 100-page judgment, basically didn't win a single count. Now he may have to pay millions.
Paul, it's yet another instance of Harry playing the fake victim. He's been railing about this case for years now. He thinks of himself as some sort of an avenger of, speech issues where he's going to punish the ones who tell lies or use surreptitious means in journalism to obtain facts about public figures, poor, embattled public figures like Harry and Meghan, and really thought he'd be truth to power. I'm going to sue. That's all they ever do. These two sue every journalist, it seems, who writes something negative about them. We're constantly reading about their latest lawsuit. And this one, he was completely wrong. The Daily Mail, to its credit, put on a bunch of journalists, the ones who had been accused of using illicit means as a way of getting stories on Harry and others. And all the journalists said, tell me what you're accusing me of. No, that's not how I got that story at all. This is how I got that story. And, as much as a journalist doesn't like to give up his or her source, the exposing the means by which you amassed your information was necessary here because they were being accused of essentially breaking the law. So he was wrong. He's got a sick sense of paranoia.
She also blew apart his Princess Diana narrative, suggesting that he should back an organisation like Mothers Against Drink Driving rather than trying to shut down the free press.
I'm sorry that his mother died in the way she did when he was a young boy. Really, you should be joining MAD if you're upset over that. Mothers Against Drunk Driving or Families Against Drunk Driving. His mother was killed by a drunk driver, not by the paparazzi. She was followed by the paparazzi all the time. She knew that. She coaxed the paparazzi into following her and taking her picture all the time. She knew how to work them just as well as anyone. And so this whole narrative about how she's just completely been piled on and then poor Harry's been now fighting to stop it from happening to Meghan. That's why he's got to do these press fights. It's a lie. It was a lie from the first acorn all the way now through to the big tree that he continues to nourish. And I think it's wonderful that the Daily Mail fought back, that he's been humiliated. And if he has to pay some massive legal fees as a result of being wrong, because over there in the UK, it is loser pays, unlike here in America, where generally everybody takes their own and walks away. Good. Maybe that'll really teach him a lesson. And you didn't prove your case. You had the opportunity to prove your case. You failed to do so. That's how the legal system works. Yes, no, he's never seen a situation in which he is not the victim. And he enjoys being the victim. That fake car chase was one of the greatest examples where there was no car. You cannot have a car chase in New York City. Anybody who's visited New York City knows you can't go 2 square blocks without hitting a red light or a biker or a delivery man that will slow your roll. But secondly, remember in their documentary on Netflix, used very loosely, how, she was pretending like, oh, is he gone yet? Is he still there? It was one guy on a Vespa. They tried to make it sound like they were being surrounded by hordes of paparazzi. It was one dude on a Vespa.
Indeed, and that is why there are now growing calls for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to permanently become private citizens. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, it's true. And it's not some weird trendy superfood. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. You're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits, but if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge, right? You can tell that by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store, and you can bet they're not all made with the consumer in mind. Many brands may even cut corners one way or another to increase profits. When Dr. Gundry came to that realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and which one isn't up to par? In an effort to answer that question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. The video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken or by clicking the link in the description box below. That's getolive1.com/outspoken or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules have helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
Leave the royal family. Leave the titles behind if you really don't want this anymore. Go live in Canada or Montecito. We got stuck with them here. But actually become a private citizen. Become a private person. Do your charity work quietly and without the constant need for the spotlight. Stop with your wife's disaster tourism, showing up at the scene where children have been murdered and putting yourself on camera. The constant need to be in front of the lens in a way that will eventually pay dividends for them through their as ever line of jam.